Welcome to Mediumship Sparks, where we connect more deeply with spirit and source and follow the sparks of insight and inspiration that bring us greater awareness, healing, and just more flow into our lives. I'm Noelle Dean, intuitive medium, licensed therapist, and your host. A quick note before we begin: this podcast is for educational purposes only and provides general information. It is not medical or psychological advice and is not a substitute for care from a licensed health professional. I'm so grateful we get to step into this. Welcome back to this special episode of interviewing or having a conversation with my sister who passed a year ago. And I'm going to pick up where we left off last time. Thanks for being here. It feels like the energy has shifted a bit, and there's a feeling of kind of like I don't want to say an emptiness. Now it feels like the right time to ask some questions. So I'm getting that right. I'll be getting help with my questions. How it's coming to me is something to the effect of, how is it for you? How was it for you when you first crossed? About like your emotional baggage. She's saying, I think she's being funny, I took that valise everywhere. And she's showing actually one of those really old, I want to say a Samsonite, what people would have called a valise, like that old, whatever blue that is. And it's got those metal clasps that you snap into place. Why are you showing that kind of luggage? It was about her age. So 58 years ago, that might have been what luggage looked like. Now I'm seeing a visual of her having opened that valise and she's unpacking a few things. The first thing she's showing is vanity, the word vanity. And she's showing a visual of her in like her 20s. Her hair was really long. And I think the sort of competitiveness between us, certainly in her eyes, was who had longer and or better hair, mainly longer, and or bigger boobs. She's feeling pretty, she's using the word sultry in her body in her 20s. And I'm seeing her, this was about at her thinnest, is how she's showing herself to me. So she's saying she was about maybe a size 12 or so, but that she felt very sexy. And she's showing, I can see that look on her face where she knew she was having a good hair day and she might have had the girls propped up just right. And she felt and knew that she looked, in her words, damn good. And now she's showing like a waving goodbye to vanity. Because it was super superficial, she's saying. Okay. And then she's showing herself unpacking the next thing. And I'm seeing cats. And we come from a cat-loving family, and she certainly had her own cats. So I'm seeing the cat that she had, God, for like her early adult life. And I think he lived to be 20. So I'm seeing him. His name was Peppy. I called him Pepe. Sorry, I just got this visual of her from probably around the time that he was alive and she lived here, and how she would have just given me this look as if I was just trying to be annoying to her to say his name that way, which I kind of probably was. But I also thought that was a way cuter name than Peppy. Anyway, she's laughing like sister annoyances. But she's talking about her over attachment to her cats and animals versus people. And now she's giving me a visual, and this would have been her in sort of like her mid years. And I'm seeing her in her apartment that she lived in and having this kind of snarky look on her face, being a bit condescending, like how she preferred her animals to people. And now she's saying everybody's equally loving with moments of shittiness. And she's saying maybe especially some people, but she's adding that she doesn't write them off and act like cats are superior or animals are just the best version of people ever. Gotcha. Okay. Okay. And this feels related. She's showing a visual of her husband, and I'm feeling reminded of how when she talked about him, it would be in this very idealized way. And other people, and I know I'm in this category, were kind of crap. And instead of saying like a black and white way of looking at things, she's saying an ugly or beautiful way of viewing people, and especially people in the family. And she's saying that she's sorry for that. Are you saying that you regret that, or are you apologizing to me in some kind of way? She's saying both. Oh, okay. Well, thanks. And are you bringing this up? She's bringing this up because, gosh, this was one of our last conversations. My birthday was coming up, whatever year this was. It must have been like, I don't know, 2013 or something. And I mentioned that she and I focused on a lot of negativity about our mother, but never really directed it at each other. But I started to. She was idealizing her husband and something that he had done, like dyeing her hair and trying to get it perfectly. And I had this moment of like, and I don't know why I was in this mood, but I was like, you bitch. Like, I frickin' dyed your hair all through high school. I bleached her hair in high school. I never wanted to do it. It stunk like rotten eggs. It was awful. And she probably never thanked me. And here she is gushing over him. And for some reason, I was completely intolerant of that. And that was kind of the beginning of the end of our relationship. Yeah. And just so you know, she was never, ever somebody to apologize, certainly not to me for anything, ever. I don't know how much I apologized to her, but I wasn't as adamantly opposed to doing it as she definitely was. I wanted to share that in the few conversations we had right after she passed, we both apologized to each other for things. And there were other times that I apologized to her also. Some of our early connections were super healing, Lisa, and I am really grateful for that because it really helped. So thanks for bringing this up too. She's showing the words no hard feelings because I was kind of a dick to her about all of that stuff. It's like I kind of turned the tables. Like suddenly the object, the focus of the negativity became her, and what she hadn't done for me wasn't a great moment in history. Anyway. Thank you. But then she shows as if she had her husband up on a pedestal and then she raises the floor and everybody is on this like equal footing. That's what she's showing. Oh, I love that. I love that for you too. She's using the word generous, generous and giving. Can you give me the context for generous? She's saying people have been very generous with her, and then she's focusing on me. I should just share when she found out that I had cancer in 2015, she did not get in touch with me because I had this very serious condition. In fact, I think she felt challenged to not get in touch with me. And sorry, I forgot where we were going with that. I assume that's why. Is that why you didn't reach out to me when you were sick? Yeah, she's using the word bravado. Did you think that I would have been able to thank you because she was talking about people being generous. And she was, yeah, she was stingy. That's the word she's using about reaching out when I was really scared and dealing with cancer. And she's feeling what feels generous to her that I would have wanted to really support her, regardless of what she did or didn't do for me earlier. And yeah, and she's commenting that I did mean that genuinely. Yeah, I really did. She's saying, oh, interesting, that she would have felt so much like she didn't deserve that if I had done that, if I did show up for her. Oh, that's interesting. She's showing this visual as if she couldn't have a, she would, can you give me some words? Because I'm floundering a bit here. She wouldn't have been able to wholeheartedly acknowledge how shitty that must have been for me that she didn't acknowledge me when I was sick. That would have been hard. And that seemed to be the most pervasive thought, is how she's sharing it. She's commenting that it was ridiculous, but she couldn't reconcile herself to apologize, say sorry, and tell the truth about it. Not to me. Yeah, no, I'm clear on that now. I get that. She's commenting like people when they cross over, that there comes a point when there's so many apologies that they could make, when they see and feel the difference that it could make or could have made, but that they couldn't bring themselves to when they were still wearing pants, meaning still alive. And now the song part is coming back. And she says, and then it's like, who cares? Like about the petty things. And then I'm hearing that part of the song play again. Yeah. I'm just sitting in this energy where it feels like the only thing I'm aware of is the love. Like all the sort of bullshit fades away, and then you're just there standing with this other soul that you do love and you have positive feelings, well, that you love. And you're not feeling very aware or even having thoughts about the stuff that didn't work well. Oh. And she's saying that's how she feels about me now. And she's saying this to you as you're listening to this. She's saying, keep in mind that your loved ones, even the contentious ones, at a point in time become the more loving, softer version of themselves, like their true soul that has meaning and purpose and is caring and loving and connected with source energy, and that they don't hang on to these grudges that's such bullshit when you're alive. And she's giving me a visual sense of this space of the afterlife where nobody's paying bills, nobody has to work. There's just this sort of somewhat quiet freedom, peacefulness, and nobody feels the needs that were met by hanging on to these grudges. And she's saying about herself, including myself. And it feels important. She wants you to know that. And she's showing a visual of, this is weird because you know that I don't know what you look like, but I'm seeing a woman and in some relationship with a grandfather that you might have known when he was alive, and that there was some stuff that happened or didn't happen, or maybe he wasn't very kind. I'm seeing maybe he drank when he was younger and was very abusive towards your parent and still had some of that personality, even if he wasn't still drinking. And that once he has a chance to be with and let go of his quote demons, emotional demons, that he will come back to that place of love. It may take many decades, she's saying, because for some of us it does. And she's commenting that she still has time to work out things together with others. And then I got a visual of our mother, but that she's doing much better emotionally. And the letting go, she's saying, is liberating. Yeah. Oh, I love that for you. That must be, ah, I was just going to say that must be so freeing. And then I get this visual of her dancing around. And I remember being at some kind of dance with her. And I don't know that I had really seen her dance before then. And she kind of lifts her arms up and she's really into the music and she just looks really confident and like she's feeling really good about herself. Thank you for that visual. That's really, yeah, she's saying spectacular. She's reminding me that she is showing me sparks of what had been her personality when she was here, and maybe still pieces of her personality. If she just showed up, she's making a joke with her hands in prayer position as if she was some Zen master, then I wouldn't recognize her. It's an interesting thing to be a certain way to remind somebody of how you were. And I'm feeling very reminded of a reading I did just a few days ago with a really close friend who lost a friend recently. The friend in spirit, we weren't even doing the reading for very long. Maybe it was 25 minutes or something. And I could feel that his energy was pulling away. And I'm asking him, is there anything else you want to share? And I wasn't getting anything. And then suddenly I just get this thing from him, like he's got to go. gotta go. And I was like, I didn't want to ask him, where are you going? I tell our mutual friend that I'm on Zoom with, this is what he's saying. And the friend, I don't know how much he took it as validation, but apparently that is how this guy was all the time, even on his deathbed, but certainly way before that. You'd talk on the phone for a little while and suddenly he'd be like, all right, gotta go. And he just, I guess he didn't like to talk on the phone for very long. So she's showing that these are remembrances of how that person's personality showed up so that you know they're not like devoid of. Thanks for spending this time with me on Mediumship Sparks. If this episode resonated with you, please like it, subscribe, rate, and certainly share it with somebody else who could benefit. If you're interested in any support I might be able to provide as you navigate your spiritual path, please feel free to check out my offerings at connectingwithnoelle.com and reach out at mediumshipsparkspodcast@gmail.com. Take good care of yourself, and I'll look forward to being with you again soon. Of that piece of themselves, although their soul's evolution continues, so they're not stuck in the personality that they were here with, although it might sound a little bit like that, but they're doing it to have it ring familiar, that it really is that person, because they'll say similar things that they would have said when they were here. Gotcha. That makes sense. Thank you for bringing that up. I'm going to continue sharing with you next time a continuation of the conversation with my sister, and I hope you come back and join us.